What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. She is a on-air personality at 93.3 ALT, Arizona, in the Phoenix area. Her name is Kelly Ferry, and we're going to talk to her about her why of getting into the media space. We're going to talk to her about getting to know her outside of her on-air personality occupation as well. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Kelly.
Hello. So
Hello there. How
sorry.
we doing?
I'm good. Of course, all my dogs want to bark right now. The second I
That, that
start this
that is
podcast.
okay. That is all right. I'm a dog lover, so hey, that's all good.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, I just got home from work a little bit ago, so I'm
Mhm.
still in work mode.
I love it. I love it. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for allocating your time to me
Yeah, of
to be
course.
on my
Thanks for reaching
podcast.
out.
No doubt. On my podcast here, Work Hard, Play Harder. I also want to ask you, how is your week going so far? We're in the middle of the week.
We are in the middle of the week, yes, and I am so excited about it. It's been great. I just got done being sick for a week, so I am finally back to being motivated, feeling good again, and everything just feels positive and moving forward. So that's really all I can ask for.
Well, Kelly, I was gonna say you look absolutely lovely today. So, and I didn't
Thank
even
you.
know you were sick. I was like, wow, if you sick looking like that, my goodness. But that's okay. That's
Thank
awesome. It's
you.
awesome to hear that you're feeling better. That's the most important thing for sure.
Thank you.
I want to reiterate to you before I start peppering you with all these questions of why I wanted to have you on here and why I did reach out. I know, as obviously how you got your booth set up, you're on air personality. So you do
Mhm.
radio from 6 to 10 in the morning on 93.3 ALT out there as the alternative station in Phoenix.
Yep.
I'm a sports journalist. I love talking to people in media. I love talking to people about their why. I love getting to know people in different occupations. I did radio in college as well.
Mhm.
So it kind of takes me back there. So I love that. And everybody has a story to tell, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has a story to tell. And everybody's story is just as special. You know, my story's special, your story is special. And I feel like getting to know you outside of what you do is important. And that's why I wanted to have you on here because um, I don't know if you originate from Illinois, but I too originate from Illinois. I was
I
born in
do.
Chicago,
Oh, get out.
Illinois. Cook County Hospital
Oh,
is
get
where I was.
out.
Yeah, absolutely. So my mother and father was raised there as well. So that also intrigued me when I saw that she may be from Illinois too. So I was like, okay,
I am.
let me reach out and hit her up and see about her background. So again, I thank you. And again, my first question is the same as
Mhm.
it always is with every guest that I have on here, and that is, what is your why?
Mm.
Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations, maybe growing up? Uh, Ultimately, what led you into the career of being a media on-air personality?
It's actually really funny because I feel like most people that are in media wanted to be in media their whole lives. That was not the case for me. It was just something I fell into in college.
Right.
I wanted to originally work with serial killers in prison doing psychology. So
Oh, okay.
I went to U of I in Champaign, Illinois, to get my psych degree. And while I was there, I also fell into college radio. It was unpaid. It was a
Yeah.
commercial station, but it was run entirely by students. So it
Mhm.
was like this crazy boot camp for radio. And I just fell in love with it. And what I ended up falling in love with wasn't so much like being on air because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of just like a shock jock and just like weird things were coming out of my mouth, whatever. I was like 20 years old. Um,
Right.
but when I started to realize that I was making waves in the community and people either loved me or hated me, I was
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I have the power to actually affect how people feel about things. And when I realized there was psychology in radio, that's when it started to really pique my interest. So I still finished my psychology degree, but I decided right after college I wanted to go into radio instead. So luckily, a week after I graduated, I landed a job in Springfield, Illinois, doing top 40
Mm.
nights on Kiss FM out there. And that kind of just started my radio trajectory from there. So I wish I could say it was like a dream of mine since I was a kid to be in radio and media. It was
Mm.
not. That was never anything that ever popped into my mind. But I did grow up listening to a lot of Chicago radio, Q101, B96,
Absolutely. Yes.
all of those stations I loved so much. So I always admired radio people, but I never thought I would be one.
I love that, that's one of the reasons why I love starting off the podcast with that question, because you get
Mhm.
all different kind of walks of life. Like some people, like you, it fell into your lap pretty
Yeah.
much, right? You
Hmm.
you went to school, you discovered it, and you discovered you had a passion for it, and there is the psychology in radio, right?
Yeah.
Being able to talk on radio for 4 hours
Hmm.
can be difficult at times because
Yeah.
you definitely don't want dead air
Yep.
on
Oh my
radio.
God. Yeah.
Number one thing you don't want is dead air.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way in college. I was a sports radio DJ,
Oh,
and it was
cool.
like, oh yeah, so it was great. And I was co-hosting with somebody, and we
Was
were
it a
just talking.
sports radio station or was it a regular station that you would go on and do sports reports?
That's what it was.
Okay,
Yes. Because
cool.
I went to Kennesaw State University. It was called Our Radio Network.
Okay.
So I was there doing sports, but we had different kind of stuff too, of genres. We had music, entertainment, news. We had all that wrapped into the radio
That's so
station. But
cool.
but I would do that. I would do my sports thing, and I would have a co-host. And sometimes we would have like two, three people on. But the worst was when you were by yourself.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna fill up 2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours of time, right? So
Yeah,
it was it was definitely a learned experience, and it's something that I cherish to this day for sure. And
totally.
if I can ever get back into radio, that would be amazing. I would definitely love to do that for
You
sure.
should. You sound like you've got a natural knack for it, honestly. I mean, just the interview already, I'm like, you should be on radio. What are you doing?
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I've definitely been applying for sure, no
Hell yeah.
question. So,
Good for
oh,
you.
that's what's up. We talked. Well, you mentioned it, and you went to U of I, so
Mhm.
University of Illinois Champaign. Talk to me. Were there any other schools that you were considering? Because Chicago is big time for schools. They have Northwestern
Mhm.
there. DePaul is there in Chicago and Illinois. So those are just a couple of the schools, but they have many other schools as well. So tell me, were there any other schools that were on your mind?
Yeah, I applied to 2 more just as safety schools. I did apply to DePaul, and I do believe I got in. And then there was another one, I can't remember which one it was, but I applied to another one. But my heart was really set on U of I.
Yeah.
I don't know why I loved it so much, but when I went on the tour there, I just thought it was so cool. It was also far from my family. I did not want to be close to my parents when I was in college. Like I wanted it to be
Sure.
like enough of a drive where they weren't just going to like show up on campus. So I
Yeah.
decided U of I and I actually got deferred the first time. So I didn't get in like the first
Wow.
batch of students. So I was like biting my nails, super nervous, and then I ended up getting in the second time. So it was a big relief. I was so excited. And I mean, honestly, if I never got into U of I don't think I ever would have gotten into radio. So it's kind of like that cool butterfly effect, right? It's just like the way
Love it.
things work out are kind of meant to happen that way, right?
Yeah, meant to be. Oh no, that's dope. It's pretty dope and pretty awesome.
Thanks.
Is your family still in Illinois? 'Cause I know
They
I
are.
have some family still as well.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, they're still living in the house that I grew up in, so they're not planning on
Wow.
leaving anytime soon, but they do want to get a house out here in Phoenix and then become snowbirds.
Okay, got you, got you. Now, I was gonna ask you, how often do you go back? I know I went back last year. I
Mhm.
typically try to go back at least once or twice a year
Yeah,
because I still have cousins, aunts, and uncles that still live over there. My dad's from the South Side, my mom's from the West
nice.
Side of
Oh,
Chicago.
nice.
So I got family on both sides. But I went back there last year for the NABJ.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so that's where the conference was last year. I
Okay.
typically like to go back there once or twice. I'm in Minnesota now, so I'm not too far away from Chicago.
Yeah.
How often do you get back?
Honestly, rarely, very rarely, maybe
Mhm.
once a year if I'm lucky. Luckily, my parents tend to just come out here a lot more, because it's more like
Much better
vacation for
weather.
them. Yeah, tell me
Yeah,
about it. But
yeah.
I do really miss the Midwest. I just recently went back with my boyfriend so that he could see the house that I grew up in and just kinda, like, see where I grew up and stuff. Because he's a native to Phoenix, and he'd never I think he'd been to Chicago once, but it was just, like, the proper city. He hadn't been to, like, the suburbs or
Mhm.
anything, so it's cool to bring him
Absolutely.
back there and, like, see everyone, and I mean, I'm sure you can attest to how different the Midwest is from everywhere else in the country. Like, ever
No
since I
question.
moved to the West Coast, it's like neighbors don't wanna talk to you, they don't wanna get to know you, like, it's
Mhm,
people aren't as friendly as the Midwest where we would have
mhm.
dinner with our neighbors and we knew
Yep,
everyone's families and, they have house keys to your house, and
yep.
it's just such a different ballgame out here, so I do really miss that Midwest, just, like, the politeness, the manners, the friendliness, just the neighborliness, so I wish I could go back more, but, work keeps me really busy.
I can understand that. Like I
Yeah,
said, doing a 4-hour show every day is
yeah.
very difficult to do, no question about it, but you do it with such grace and
Thank
such
you.
passion as well. I could just tell in your voice, you're very passionate about what you do and obviously very good at what you do, so I love that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I wanna ask you this next kind of bonus question before I get to some of favorite questions that I have here. That is, have you found a spot out there in Phoenix that does deep dish pizza like Chicago?
That's a good question. I will say there's a place out here called Vero, Vero, and
Okay.
they do everything Chicago style so well. It's so good.
Mm.
But ironically, I'm not a big deep dish fan. Not my favorite. I'm more of a pan pizza fan. What about you? Do you love deep dish? Are you like a diehard deep dish fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a well, pan is my number 1 too,
Yes.
don't get me wrong, Kelly, but,
Mhm.
I mean, it's very hard to find a good place that does really good deep dish pizza, like,
Agreed.
they try
Mhm.
to do it, but, I mean, when I go back to Chicago, that's one of the few things that I gotta do. I gotta get me a bratwurst, and I gotta get me a
Yeah.
deep dish pizza.
Oh, yeah, and
Tho
Italian beef, oh my god, yes, yeah,
Mhm,
and we got
mhm.
Portillo's out here, but I gotta say, the Portillo's out here, it's just not the same as the one in Chicago.
No, it's not.
I don't know why, it's just not the same.
I feel you on that. I love that. I wanted to ask that because I love asking a fellow native Illinois people about deep dish pizza, especially
Mhm,
bratwurst and stuff like that. So yeah,
mhm,
that's pretty cool. Now let me get you the favorite questions, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon the favorite questions that I ask. So
okay.
the first one is favorite meal that you like to cook.
Mm. So I'm actually pescatarian, so I don't eat meat, but
Mm,
I do eat fish, so
okay.
probably one of my favorite things to cook would be ooh, there's this really good salmon dish that I've made, where you make it with this couscous that's kind of like sun-dried tomatoes and spinach and, like, a tomato sauce. It's kind of creamy.
Mm-hmm.
That's easily one of my favorite things to cook, and it really doesn't take that long. It's actually pretty easy to make, so I'm a little bougie with the stuff that I cook.
That's okay. That is all right. Listen, we accept your bougie ass. That is all good. That is
Thank
all
you.
good. No question. But you said the key word there. The key word was salmon. Salmon is
Mhm.
really, really good. So
Oh, yeah.
um I just wish I knew how to cook it because I'm not
Oh,
very
dude,
I'm a
you just gotta
person
bake
that
it. Baking it is so easy, so easy.
really.
Yes,
Oh,
baking it is the way
okay.
to go, and it always comes out just like I think it's 400 degrees, for 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how big the fish is, and boom, you're gonna have the best cooked salmon. It's so good.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind, Kelly, no doubt. I'm a tacos person, so I love tacos. Yes, I am a
Mhm,
carnivore. I ain't gonna lie about that. I like beef,
mhm.
chicken, and steak.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. My turkey ground beef, I like that. Try to,
Ooh, nice and
yeah.
healthy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely. Well, I'll be transparent with you before I get to the next one. So I got sick
Oh.
after I came back from covering the Super Bowl. And I got sick 2 weeks later, and they found a septic wound on my backside, and it got infected, with my blood, and it was shutting my organs down.
Whoa.
Um, yeah, it was pretty bad, and they found out I was a diabetic as well, which made it even worse. So I almost died.
Oh
Uh,
my
to be
god.
to be transparent with you, yeah, it was crazy. I was in the hospital for about 10 weeks. Of course, my mother dropped everything. My mom lives in Georgia, and then
Oh
come up
my
to
God.
Minnesota. She dropped everything and just came up.
That's
And she was with
incredible.
me for about 6 weeks. I was in bed rest for about 2 weeks. I'm still on the mend.
Okay.
I'm recovering. I'm on the mend, and I'm a lot better now. But at that time frame, I had to make some life changes. I had to start eating a lot better. I had to start, and not that I didn't eat good, but I had to really cut out a lot of,
Yep.
fast food places, different
Hmm.
things like that. Better diet,
Hmm.
even more exercise than what I was doing before. And I lost 55 pounds.
Wow. Oh my God, congratulations. You really
Yeah,
stuck with the changes. Do you
I
think you
did.
would have found out you had diabetes if you weren't septic?
No,
Wow. Yeah.
no. And they told me that had I waited a week, I could have died.
Oh my God. Oh
Because
my
my
God.
my body was the way my body was, I couldn't get out of bed. It was hard for me to bounce up and get out of bed, and I was struggling, and I was going to work, and I couldn't sit down on my backside, and I was
Ah,
like, "Something's wrong. Something's
yeah.
really wrong," and I'm in pain. So I called 911, and that's where we discovered all that stuff. So, yeah,
Wow.
I got out of hospital in April, late April, and obviously been on the mend ever since. Been losing weight in the hospital, and then rehabbing and just doing my thing now. So I am much better. Not
Good for
100%,
you.
probably not going to
Yeah.
be 100% for a while, but I'm
Yeah, I can
definitely
imagine.
definitely closer to 100 than I am to zero.
Wow, what a journey you've been on in such a short span of time. But
Yeah.
it sounds like you're doing all the work to get better. And I mean, good on you for that. Because I know some people, it's just so hard for them to change the diet and to continue working out. And I mean, when you get bad news like that, a lot of people just want to, curl up and hide, which is also understandable. So good for
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. And great segue back to the favorites, which is favorite concert you've ever
Ooh.
attended.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Pearl Jam, actually. When I first moved here to Phoenix, I've always liked Pearl Jam. I mean, I'm a 90s grunge chick, but I never thought I'd be able to see them live. And it was like a very last minute thing where one of our salespeople in the building was like,
Mm,
"Hey, do you want to go to a Pearl Jam show? We've got a box." And I was like, yeah, I'll go." So I
oh,
went by
great.
myself because I didn't like have any friends or know anybody yet. And it was the best show I have ever seen in my entire life. Like they
Wow.
were so good. They were running around the stage. I mean, like the energy they had considering their age, not that they're like old, but it's like
Right.
they've been around for freaking ever, for like over
Yeah.
30, maybe 40 years, and they were still on
Yeah.
stage just going so hard. It was such a fun show, and they sounded great.
Yeah. It's surprising. The most surprising show, probably not the best show, the most surprising show that I really liked was the Rolling Stones. When I went and saw them.
Oh, that had to be fun.
Um, that was fun. And again, it was surprising because Mick Jagger, I mean, he is old as prohibition.
Yeah.
That brother old. And my goodness, but he still puts on quite a show. Now, my favorite show was Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. I've heard he puts on great shows, yeah. And
He
I saw the
does.
Super Bowl one. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, no, no. I went to his actual concert
Nice.
before. Yeah, yeah. But he did put a great show on the Super Bowl. I was there. It was great. It was amazing. It was actually my first time in New Orleans. Going
Nice.
there. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Did
And
you go to New Orleans for the show, or were you just there for something else?
no, I was there covering the Super Bowl. So I was there pretty much.
Nice.
I was pretty much there the whole week. So I went to Radio Row, got a chance to meet with a lot of media people. If you went through my Instagram, I have nothing but videos like
Yeah.
of all different kind of media people and
Hmm.
stuff like that. It was great. It was such an experience 'cause it was my first time there, first time in New Orleans, first time on Media Row, Super Bowl, and the food. They had a media party, and the media party was just absolutely amazing. And they had
Wow.
different like places where like you can go and try different foods. First time I ever had jambalaya.
Oh my
First time
God.
I had gumbo and chicken. Yeah, it was great. It
Wow,
was
they did it up, man. You're
mhm.
so lucky you get to go to the Super Bowl things.
Yeah.
They put so much money into that stuff.
They do. They do. They put a lot, and I'm looking forward to going to San Francisco, which is where the
Oh,
next Super Bowl
nice.
is. So, yes, absolutely. I wanna come out there to Phoenix. That's a
Yeah.
city I've never been to, I've never been to Phoenix, but I've heard really good things
Mhm.
about it. And I was born in Chicago, but I wasn't raised in Chicago.
Okay.
I was actually raised on the West Coast. I was
Where?
raised in San Diego,
Oh, get
California.
out. Oh, lucky
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Talk about cities with a great reputation.
Absolutely, right, right. My dad was, in the Navy, so
Oh,
he
cool.
actually relocated us out to, San Diego, so, yeah, I'm definitely a West Coast kid, but one
Mhm.
of the West Coast cities that was on my bucket list is Phoenix, so and I do have a question for about Phoenix a little later in the
Okay.
podcast for sure that we will definitely get to, but I like that. I like that favorite concert, Pearl Jam, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Um, favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh. Oh, that's a toughie. I haven't done much traveling outside of the country.
Mhm.
But okay, I'll say Canada, actually. I mean, it was touristy, it was Niagara Falls, but I was 19 years old and I had never been out of the country before, and it was so cool. It was beautiful. The people were so nice, and I definitely want to do a lot more exploring of like other areas of Canada too. I mean, it's huge, and there are so many cities there that I want to check out. I really want to go to Banff. I really want to check out like the naturey spots in Canada. It just looks insanely gorgeous out there, but Niagara
It
Falls was
it
super
definitely
fun. Mhm.
Definitely is. I was blessed enough to go to Toronto,
Oh,
Montreal,
nice.
Quebec.
What?
So I was blessed to go there in Canada. So I think you would love that. You and the boyfriend should definitely take a trip. Or if you want to go with your girls, if you got girlfriends out there, I think you would have some fun there too. I think
Hell
so.
yeah.
For sure. Definitely in Toronto. Toronto, you would definitely have fun with the
Okay.
girlfriend. For
All
sure.
right.
No question. I would say Jamaica for me. I was also blessed enough
Ooh,
to go to Jamaica, went on a cruise last October.
nice.
And yeah, my dad set it up and we went as a family. Jamaica was one of the four spots. And then we went to the Cayman Islands,
Nice.
Bahamas, and Mexico. So those are the
Oh,
four spots that we went to.
cool. Yeah, I haven't even been to Mexico. That's so cool. You've done so much traveling in your life.
I I'm somebody who is a travel nerd.
Yeah.
I just got my passport
Oh my God.
in October of last year.
You're
Yeah,
just like
October of last year.
stamping it up.
Absolutely. I want to go to as many places I possibly can because I just love meeting new people. I love
Yeah.
talking to new people, if that isn't obvious by now. And I love talking. I love seeing new things
Yeah.
and just scenery and stuff like that. Like I am just so amazed with how about
Yeah.
cultures and seeing different things like that. So I love that.
Yeah. Different lifestyles. Yeah, it's really
Mhm.
eye-opening. I mean, I experienced that just moving from the Midwest to the West Coast. It was like a whole
Hello.
nother world. So yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
can only imagine going to other countries. So
No
definitely have a
doubt.
lot of places on my bucket list.
Okay. Now I'm a sports person, so I'm going to ask you a sports question. Okay. This is a
Okay.
two-part question.
Hmm.
Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, favorite sport that you like to attend in person?
Okay. Watch on TV. Can it be like an Olympic sport?
Sure.
I love watching track and field for the Olympics. Oh my God, the sprinting is 100% my favorite, dude. Like, I will buy a Peacock subscription just to watch the track and field. Like, I am obsessed with it. These people are so freaking strong. And like, I
Mhm.
think I'm fast, right? Like, I was running back in powder puff in high school because I was the fastest person. And like, I used to do hurdles and I used to do sprinting and track and field in high school. But like,
Mhm.
when I think about the people in the Olympics, I'm just like, if I sprinted next to them, it would probably look like I was walking. Like I can even not even comprehend how fast and powerful these people are. So I am just
Right.
100% obsessed. And then a sport I like to watch in person, probably soccer or hockey, but probably more so soccer. I played soccer for like 9 years when I was younger, so I like
Mm.
can actually understand the game and the gameplay and what's going on. And soccer's just a fun sport to watch because it's social, but everybody in the crowd is so involved and excited.
Absolutely.
And hockey's a lot like soccer in the gameplay, kind of. So it's like I can follow kind of what's happening on the ice.
Mhm.
But it's a lot more violent. So I can only
It
handle
is.
so much of that before I'm like, "Ooh, okay, I gotta go home."
I feel that. I feel that. Do y'all got a soccer team out there? If any?
We do actually. Yeah, we do have a football club out here. I haven't been to any of the games yet, but I would really love to. I think they're called the Phoenix Rising.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
do.
What about
Like
you?
oh, I'm huge into basketball, seeing that
Okay.
in person. That's my favorite sport. A
Did you
sport
ever
that
go
I
to a
like
Bulls
to
game growing up?
not a Bulls game,
Oh,
a
bummer.
Lakers game, but a
Okay.
Lakers game.
Okay. Even better.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite team for sure. Lakers. I used to go to the San Diego Chargers game all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm in my 30s now. So yeah, I remember when LT, the running back, Daniel Thompson, he's one of my favorite players. Every time that I went back to Chicago, I've been to a Bears game,
Okay.
Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Yep, I've been to Bears, Cubs, White Sox,
Nice.
Blackhawks. I,
Yes. Oh,
I
I loved Blackhawks games.
Absolutely. My two favorite players of all time are Sid the Kid
Okay.
and Superman, Patrick Kane.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Mhm.
always at bars in Chicago. Like I know friends that have met him in person. He's just
I can
always
only
out
imagine
drinking.
how he is. I can only imagine. He is crazy. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's what's up. Favorite restaurant that you like to eat at? Now, again, Kelly, I'm a traveler, so I eventually will end up in Phoenix.
Okay.
That's for sure. And is one of I've just heard so many different things. So I want to know, what restaurant do you like to eat at? What restaurant should I check out?
Okay, there's this one that comes to mind called First and Last. And it's a restaurant where they
Ooh,
don't take reservations, which is so frustrating because anytime you like the second they open, they already have a line out the door. So they're super good, but they have
wow.
like seafood, pasta, their fish is phenomenal. They have,
Okay.
appetizers. It's kind of like I wouldn't call it upscale, like it's expensive. Like it's not like $4 signs or anything like that, but it's definitely really great quality food, a super cool ambiance. Like everyone there has like tattoos that works there, and everyone's just like super down to earth and chill. They've got cool music playing in there, and there's kind of like a
That's what I'm
cool
talking about.
a cool vibe. Yeah, and the food is just, oh my God, phenomenal. I don't get to eat there enough because they're always so busy, but highly recommend First and Last. It's in like kind of the downtown
Yeah.
Phoenix area.
Okay. Now I'm a bachelor now, and I
Mm-hmm.
like to go out. I like to work hard, and I like to play hard.
Okay.
So tell me, do y'all got a nice little downtown club? No, not club, but bar scene? I'm more of a bar person. So do y'all
Yeah.
got nice bars out there?
We do, yeah. I would say though, like downtown Phoenix is going to be more college kids, so I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Mhm.
But we definitely have like, Old Town Scottsdale, which is a little more country up there. We got a ton of bars over there. Like pretty much any little like hub that you go to around Phoenix, you're gonna find cool club or bar scenes. But downtown
Yeah,
Phoenix is definitely going to be more college kids because that's where ASU
yeah.
is.
I listen. I mean, God bless the kids. I
Yeah,
really, but no, at this point in my life, I need to be around some more mature people for sure.
agreed. Yeah.
No question. No question. I love that. I love that. You did great on the favorites.
Thanks.
Let's talk about your day-to-day operations.
Mhm.
As you know, as a journalist, even though I'm freelance now, but I've worked in several different publications where every day I would walk in, it'd be a different story, different
Mhm.
game, different thing to do. I can only imagine 4 hours a day, every single day. You're probably not talking about the same thing over and over again. You got to prepare your show, and you got to do like interviews sometimes, and
Uh-huh.
you just got to try to find different things to do every single day, to keep the audience with you. So talk to me about your day-to-day process of how you get ready to go on air from 6 to 10 a.m. and when you get off, what do you typically do? I mean, outside of being on the podcast today, what do you typically do when you get off? How early do you have to go to bed to get up in the morning? Because
Good
you
questions.
obviously are not just getting there at 5:45 in the morning. You obviously are probably getting there pretty early to do your thing.
Yeah, so I usually wake up at 4 a.m. every day, and then
Mhm.
I'll do like a little meditation in the morning. I'll do some breath work, so I got to make sure that I am centered before I go into work, so I'm grounded. Then I'll make some tea. I'll make a little breakfast. I'll bring that with me to work, and I actually do get to work around 5:45. My show is nice because I don't have any co-hosts, so I kind of just let the listener be my co-host my entire show. So for the
Wow.
first like hour and a half, I'm pretty much just, like riffing, talking about, random observations I've made in public or things that are going on in my life or promos for things that we're giving away on the show or anything like that. But
Right.
then for the rest of the show, I literally just give out a topic of the day and have listeners call in with their stories. And I always have enough stories to fill up the rest of the show. So, today was have you ever been stolen from? So it was people calling in, like
Yeah.
telling me stories about how like their car got stolen or their house got broken into twice and they got stuff stolen from them or, just crazy things like that. And then I just
Right.
play their stories the entire show. So they kind of do my job for me, which is awesome. But yeah, sometimes I have to do like band interviews during my show or every Wednesday. So earlier today I was on TV, like around like 9:30 on my show. I'll do a live TV segment with the CW7 out here. And it's
Oh my God.
their little morning mix show. So they'll just have me on and we'll just talk about my show and whatever they're doing and stuff.
That is freaking awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So it's
Yeah.
usually pretty busy in the mornings, but I do feel very blessed to have the listeners that I do. I've never connected with listeners the way that I have here, so I just love them so much. They mean so much to me. So they make my show super fun. And then afterwards, I hang out for about 30 minutes, make sure sales doesn't need anything from me, and then I head home. And then the rest of my day, I spend my time doing voice acting. So that's my other job. So my agent will send me auditions and stuff, so I'll just do auditions all day. And when I'm not doing auditions, I'm either like floating on the river or I'm at the lake or, I'm at home meditating. Like I'm really trying to get in this like point in my life where I'm not drinking and I'm not like getting high all the time. I'm like trying to just like take care of my mind, my body, and my soul in my mid 30s. So yeah, it's been a fun little
Okay.
journey, but I try to make
Got
sure that
you.
I'm balancing work with fun and relaxation because I used to just work so hard and it really takes a toll on you after a while. You got to
Without
find that
question.
balance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I like that. I was about to ask you about being on TV because I'm like, you certainly have the face to be on TV.
Oh God, thank you.
You
It's
have the
funny.
face.
I have this like fear of being seen. So I don't like being on camera, shockingly.
Wow.
So like
Okay.
I'll do it because, I got to do it for my job sometimes. Like even stage announcements, like I am panicking before I go on stage. I do not like a crowd of
Wow.
people looking at me. Like that makes me really uncomfortable. So there's a reason I'm on radio because like half the people that listen don't even know what I look like. It's just like it's just my voice going out there, it's a lot less
Mhm.
pressure, but being on camera is really scary for me.
Okay. No, well, I totally understand that because most of the people that I've had on this platform that do radio, they're like, you know what? I have no interest in being in
Yeah.
front of the camera. My
Yeah,
voice is my instrument, and I just want to use that to the best of my abilities. But
totally.
but all the people that I've talked to, I'm like, you do have the face for a camera. Now that wouldn't be bad. Wouldn't be
Yeah.
bad.
Thank you. Although,
Wouldn't be bad.
also you got to think about people on camera like I already get enough weirdos and, stalker situations just being on the radio. And people who are on TV, it's like that is your face that people are seeing every day. And
Mhm.
that's a whole nother level of stalkers that you're getting because they really feel like they've made a connection with you. So
Sure.
I like my privacy, man. Like I don't want people to know what I look like.
That's and you know what? I totally understand that, and when you put it into that perspective, I'm like, yeah, that is true. They do
Yeah.
talk. I've I've heard so many different stories to where people have sent emails or tried to get text messages, or not well,
Mhm.
phone calls or text messages. Just random people just
Yep.
tell you either how you look or what you're wearing or this,
Yep.
that, and the third. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with people? Like,
Yeah.
that's just weird. That's just
Yeah.
all. That's so weird.
And
But
your public information is so easy to find nowadays. I mean, your phone number,
yeah.
your address, it's all online. So it's just like, I don't want to take that risk.
And
Like,
it's
radio's risky
very,
enough.
very hard to stay under the radar when you're a media person. When you're in media
100%.
and you're out in the public and people are reading your articles
Hmm.
or listening to your voice and listening to your show, your information is out there and it's very
Yeah.
accessible. And then you just have a bunch of randoms that come up. I know one time I think I got an email talking about why I'm talking about her baby. And I was like, well, yeah, I wrote an article because I went to a game. In particular, this team. that I was covering for the newspaper, they lost. He was one of the better players on the
Okay.
team, but he had a bad game, and obviously in journalism and media, you always want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You don't want to obviously
Good for
try to
you.
demean and be harsh to anybody. That's not
No.
what our job is. Our job is to be actual and be factual. That's what we
Mhm.
want to do. So he had a bad game, and I listed some of the stats, and she didn't like it. And of course, this was on a high school level. So I wasn't overblown with my criticism. I was just
Yeah.
saying that it's a bad game. They lost it, but they can always come back and there's always going to be another game played. That's what sports is about. You win, you
Yeah.
lose. But because it was her baby,
Oh my
he
god.
wrote an email saying that, well, I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that, I shouldn't be saying this, and wrote it to the editor in chief of the publication. And
That's
I was told
wild.
about it. And I was like, we're gonna get people like that
Yeah.
because people are always, and I'm sure you get them too. I
Mhm.
call them trolls.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, I'm sure you get them on social media. I'm sure people have said, "Well, maybe I don't like Kelly's voice, or I don't
Yep.
like what Kelly's talking about, or this, that, and the third." And uh, so let me ask you, how do you personally? Because for me, I just brushed that sugar honey iced tea off my shoulders, and you know the acronym for that. I just brush it off my shoulders and go about my business. How do you deal with people that want to troll you in the media?
Sure, yeah. It honestly doesn't happen nearly as much now. It happened a lot when I was in Vegas, and I'll be honest, I was not in a good headspace when I was living there. I definitely was having a lot of mental health issues, and I mean, Vegas is a weird place. I'm somebody that's all love and light, and when you're like that and you're you're living in Vegas, which is the opposite of that, people there are pretty miserable. The people that choose to live there are not happy people, and they
Right,
did not like me. So, people would actually call into my show with death threats, and my co-host would actually laugh about it,
wow,
which was not fun for me. So, I will say I didn't get to handle it well in Vegas just because I wasn't in a good place mentally too, so I would go
sure,
home and cry a lot. There were HR meetings that were had, and at the end of the day, they all told me I was too sensitive. So, it's
oh
just
wow,
kind of one of those things where it's like when you're in the media business, you definitely have to have a thick skin.
no
Um,
question.
and I've learned to grow that very thick skin. Luckily, I'm in a much better place now, and I don't have to deal with listeners that don't like me for no reason. But yeah, it was really, really hard when I was living there. It was really, really tough to just like let that stuff roll off my shoulders, especially because I was a single woman living alone. And when, a listener's calling in with death threats, it's like, and your co hosts aren't backing you up at all, and telling them to
Right,
stop. They're playing the call
right,
on the air because they think it's funny. It's like, I I didn't really have any support, and I was worried that these people would find my address and maybe they would. So it's like
you never know.
you never know how crazy people can be and how far they'll take it. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I didn't handle it well there. But I also didn't have the support system to be able to handle it well. But I think if it were to happen now, I definitely have a lot better resources and tools to be able to just not let it affect me. At the end of the day, you can't care what people think about you because they don't even know you.
Absolutely. No question. I love that. I really love that. And you touched upon something I want to segue to now, which is mental health and
Mhm.
work-life balance. Right. Mental health is so important, especially in
Yeah.
this media space. I've seen a lot of my colleagues drop out of journalism, drop out of media because their mental health was affected, whether it's being overworked, because you hear the term overworked and underpaid quite a bit in the
Oh, yeah.
media
Uh-huh.
industry. And you just hear those terms because that's just what it is. But you also hit a word burnout.
Mhm.
And you get a lot of burnout when you're working like from 0 to 100 all the time, going from 0 to 60, and you feel like you're just never getting a break.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong now, because you talked about how you had mental health issues, but talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong now and how you have that work life balance. Because like you said, you have a significant other,
Mhm.
you're working here, your family's not near you, they're all
Mhm.
back in Illinois, so it's pretty much just you as far as and your significant other here. So talk to me about how you keep that work-life balance as well.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, number one, you gotta find a workplace that allows you to have a work-life balance, and that can be tough, especially in media. A lot of places will
Without
take
question.
advantage of you.
Hmm.
My entire career was overworked and underpaid. Like that's literally radio for you. But
Yeah,
I got very lucky finding Hubbard. I mean, I'm sure if, since you were in radio for a little bit, I'm sure you've heard of Hubbard Broadcasting, and people
I
always
am.
say it's one of the best companies. And I can attest to that. Obviously every company has its things. It's radio, it's the industry. And the industry hasn't changed much, but I will say I've never felt more valued by a company than I do by Hubbard. So they allow me to have that work-life balance. They don't care if I need a day off. I don't have to feel guilty for taking a day off if I need it for my mental health, or if I'm too tired, or if I wake up with a headache. You know what I mean? Like they are fully okay with me taking time off if I need to, which is nice. So to not have that pressure to feel like I have to be there every single day, that
Right.
really helped. But also therapy. I mean, I was in therapy for the longest time. I
Okay.
then got into meditation, breath work, somatics, all that kind of stuff really helps me. And that's stuff that I just do on the side. And I mean, when you feel like you're more grounded and in your body, you're not reacting to things so much. You're able to have more grounded conversations with people. I had a conversation with my GM the other day that went really well, and it could have gone really bad. And
Right.
I was really proud of myself after that because I was like, man, if this were 3 years ago, it would not have gone this way. I probably would have been crying, like it would have been a nightmare. But now I just feel like I'm so much more emotionally mature and like
Hmm.
I can just handle hard things. And I really think finding a place that values you and finding a place that allows you to have that work life balance is so important. If you're not happy where you're working, you have to find a new place to work. Like, don't
Right.
sit there and think that it's the end all be all and you have to stay there forever. There are
Right.
always other options. You just have to make the move. You just have to do it.
I love that. I really love that answer. And you're one of the few people that have been on this platform of mine that has said that.
Mm,
It really does matter about where you work.
it does.
It's one of the reasons why I went freelance, because the last publication I went to, they were saying some very demeaning things.
Mm.
I was the only African American there. I was the only African American that was ever hired to be there. And I was actually the only minority I believe they also ever hired.
Whoa.
Everybody was white that they
Well, I guess
always
I'm
hired.
not surprised if it's Minnesota, right? That's kind of.
Mm. Yeah. So, it's a small town here in Minnesota. It's not like Minneapolis where it's a bigger city. It's a smaller town. But at the same time, it was just one of those things where you got to know your worth,
Hmm.
especially being in the media industry, but that's for
Yep.
any occupation, but especially this business. You mentioned it early on. People will take advantage of you.
Hmm.
And everybody does not have your best interests at heart.
Nope.
And you got to realize that, and it's tough to realize that because you're in the process in your mind, especially when you're starting out in your 20s. I know when I started out, I was in my later 20s when I started, but I was like go 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 all the time. Yeah, I'll do this game, I'll do that game, I'll do this,
Hmm.
I'll do that. Whatever you ask me to do, I'm willing to do because I just want the reps.
Yep.
I want to do it as much as possible. But as you get older, as I get, because we're around the same age, um, you start to realize that it's okay, one, to say no. Two, you
Hmm.
start learning about who you need to associate yourself with, who you need to be around with in this industry,
Yep.
what company. You start doing research on companies and stuff like that. So I typically try to tell college kids that graduate now, if you want to be in this business, there's three things that I tell them. I tell them, one, any job offer that you get, that job should want to you should want to go, they should want to fly you out if
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
across country. If it's
Hmm.
cross country, now if it's in the same place, it's in the same place, but you should want to go to the job and meet the people you're going to work with,
Yep.
and they should want to, you got to get a feel for them. Number two, you got to get a feel for the city. If it's a new city, you got to get accustomed to where you're living because
Hmm.
you want to know where is the important things at? Like, where's your
Yep.
grocery stores? Where's your dentist offices? Where's your doctor's offices? Where's the hospital? You don't want to live in a city that's, everything is in ones. And if they're busy, then you don't have really anywhere else to go. So
Yeah.
you really want to try to, do that. And you also want to live with your means,
Hmm.
meaning that whatever they pay you, you want to be able to afford, what you do, because eating top ramen and every night, that's a college thing. But once you get into
Yeah.
the professional world, you don't want to be doing that.
No.
And I think the last thing that I tell them, Kelly, is is that what no matter how many offers that you get, understand that no will be said to you a lot more often than
Yeah.
any offers you ever will get. And you have to
Mhm.
be able to deal with that.
Uh-huh, yeah.
A lot of people, they get very dejected and melancholy when they hear the word no. And you can't, because this business will beat you down to your knees by telling you
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
No, no question. So that's what I
Yeah.
try to tell them for that, for sure.
Yeah, it's great advice. You can't take it personal. And I know it's hard to say that because obviously they're telling you, no, we don't want you to work here. Like that feels personal. But
Yeah.
you also have to remember that there are other companies that maybe this is a blessing. Like maybe there's another company out there that is a much better fit for you and a job that is
Right.
way better for you that you are going to thrive in that does want you. So, yeah, you're going to get a
Absolutely.
ton of no's, but get excited for the yeses. And another thing you said earlier was know your worth. And that was one thing I did not know until I even got this job. Like, I'm telling you,
Right.
dude, it took 15 years of me being in this industry before I finally knew my worth. I never negotiated salary. And especially as a woman, it's harder to negotiate. You feel like you have to
Mm.
go over the moon and tell them why you deserve it. Whereas a man would
Right.
just be like, I want this much. And they'd be like, okay. It's like, we feel like we need to over explain why we deserve more money. I never asked for a raise. I never asked for, negotiation. Like, I never had a contract. I never knew my worth. And now that I
Mm.
do, and I'm able to go in my GM's office and be like, I want a raise. And they're like, okay. And it's like,
I love that.
oh, okay, cool. It was that easy. Awesome. All right, this is
Mhm.
how much I want. And I also want this many vacation days. And they're like, okay, yeah, we can do all of that. Sure. Let's go ahead and sign a contract. Like, it's just, you have to fight for yourself and you have to know your own worth to be able to do that. And
Oh
if
my
they say
goodness.
no, that's fine, but you have to try. You have to try because nobody's going to fight for you but you.
Absolutely. I'm
Mm,
so happy that you just said that because I want to get to the next question, but I'll tell you this real quick. So I told you that they said some demeaning things why
yeah.
I departed the publication. Now, these demeaning things came after the fact of when I professionally went in and talked to my editor in chief and the publisher, and I told them, I said, hey, I feel like I've kind of outworked the number that you're paying me per hour.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I was there for 18 months
Okay.
prior to me even coming there. So, and they had me doing all different kinds of stuff. And then my sports editor left 12 of he left a year. So I was there actually 6 months, um, working with the new kid that came in. But I was there working, doing different things, and my role expanded. And this is when the demeaning stuff started to come out of their mouth.
Mm.
And they said that I was below average. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
truthfully.
God.
Mhm. That's what they said, and I never heard those 2 words until I did that, until I sat them down and talked.
Whoa. Yeah, of course.
Never,
Of course. Yeah.
not one time prior to the 18 months I was there. So, it's funny that you say that, and that's when I was like, "Okay, I definitely know my worth, and
Yes.
I definitely know what this is about."
Yes.
And right, we don't need it written on a wall on a piece of paper. I know what this is about. So I knew from that point on it was time for me to exit stage right,
Mhm.
because I knew I wasn't going to get my worth being there because they were
Good
going to
for
find a way not to
you.
do that, for
Yeah.
sure. What advice, Kelly? Because I'm sure you have interns that fly through that station of 93.3 and people that want to come in and shadow you or whatnot. What kind of advice would you give someone about being on radio? Someone that
Mm.
wants to do the job that you do.
Mm. Oh my god, there's so many pieces of advice that I could give. I would say one of the most important pieces of advice is definitely to do something on your show you're passionate about, because
Mhm.
if you're not passionate about what you're doing on your show, you're not gonna wanna wake up every day and do it.
Right.
So that's super important, but I also just feel like connect with the listeners because without them, you wouldn't be here. And I just feel like it's so important, especially on your show, to give them a voice. So, whether you have co hosts or whether you're doing a show by yourself, try to include the listeners as much as you possibly can because I think people would be shocked how interesting our listeners are. Like, the
Sure.
stories my
Sure.
listeners tell me every day, my jaw is to the floor. I'm like, wow, you are way more interesting than I am. Like,
Right.
like, just
Right.
give them a voice, you know? Like, it's so much more fun when you include them. So I'd say that's probably my advice. And of course, get thick skin and know your worth, but I feel like those are obvious.
I love that. No, I love that. That's great advice. We have came to the portion of the podcast now that we are going to do my interactive game, which is called
Ooh,
This or That.
okay.
Now, Kelly, this is the game that I normally do with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, and I've asked a series of questions, and you get to choose this or that. So,
Okay.
Kelly, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Which, well, I should say this. Which place would you rather go eat at? Would you rather eat at Olive Garden or Red Lobster?
Oh, God, really? Red Lobster. I'm gonna go with Red Lobster. Their biscuits are
Okay.
chef's kiss,
Yeah, them cheddar biscuits are pretty good.
right? Oh, so
Pretty
good.
good. Okay. If you had a choice, okay, to choose between eating a chicken wing or eating a piece of rib,
Oh my God.
which one would you do if you had to choose?
Probably a rib. Yeah, a rib.
Okay.
Barbecue ribs are
Well,
so bomb.
I like that. I like that. Okay. The next five questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Metallica or would you rather go see Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam. Yeah, I've seen both. They were both incredible, but Pearl Jam for sure.
Pearl Jam, okay.
Mhm.
Which music concert would you rather go see? Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna.
Ooh,
I know.
okay.
Sorry, Beyonce.
I like that.
I
I
love
like that.
Rihanna. She's so
Hmm.
spicy.
Okay. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather see Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, or would you rather see the Eagles?
Ooh. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Mm, okay,
That's a
I
tough one,
like
though.
that.
Yeah,
That's a very tough one. That's a
that's a
very
tough
tough one.
one. Yeah.
Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Boys the Men or New Edition?
Boys to Men, 100%. Yeah. That'd be so cool.
Okay, I like that.
I love
Very
them growing up.
decisive here, Kelly. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather see Zach Brown Band or Lady A?
Can I say neither? I know, I'm
Damn.
sorry. I'm not a country fan, like even in the slightest. You couldn't pay me to go to either of those shows.
Damn.
Sorry, not even close to
Okay.
a fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather pick
Here
up
we go.
garbage.
Oh, oh shit. Girl, you almost had me saying that. Okay, okay, here we go. Which okay, I got a bonus one. Which
All
music
right.
concert would you rather go to? Limp Bizkit or Corn?
Corn, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. I like that. Now, which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or football?
God. Probably football.
You are
Yeah.
saying that very reluctantly,
I
Kelly.
know. Football's my least favorite sport, but basketball they score too much. Like I get really bored watching it, you know? It's like it's not interesting until the end when it's like who's going to win, but they're just scoring like every 2 seconds. I lose interest.
And you said football is your least favorite?
Yeah, football's my least favorite sport, 100%. Yeah. I think the fans are toxic. I think the sport is toxic. It's not for me at all. Sorry. I understand that you go to the Super
Oh
Bowl
my
every year,
God.
but I
Yeah.
can't do it. I cannot do football.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you on that. Now, let me ask you this. Which sport would you rather play?
Mm.
Badminton or bowling?
Oh, damn. Badminton. I suck at bowling. I'm so bad. Badminton's at least a little more aggressive. So I'll go with badminton.
You must hit the birdie like super damn
Oh,
hard.
I do. You better believe I'm smacking it. I am pimp smacking it across the net. Like I'm trying to hit people in the face with it. I get so competitive when I play sports. It's so much fun.
What what the hell is going on? She said, I'm sorry to hit people in the face. Oh my, I love it. I love it. Okay. Do you like desserts?
I do. Yeah, I'm a total dessert fan. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again.
Oh, damn, Chris. Okay, go ahead.
Here we go. The first one is cookies.
Okay.
The next one is candy. The next one is ice cream. The last one is cake slash pies. Which one
Never
are you
eat
getting rid
again?
of? Yes.
Probably ice cream, then candy. I could totally do
Oh,
without both of them.
okay. So what's your favorite cookie then?
Probably like a nice, ooh, just a nice warm chocolate chip is honestly like a skillet
Yeah,
cookie. Oh
yeah.
my God, so good. Probably my favorite. Then a snickerdoodle.
Okay. I would say chocolate chip for me and then
Mm.
gingerbread.
Ooh, good answer. That came out of left
Mm.
field. Nobody loves
Yeah,
gingerbread that much.
yeah. I love me a good gingerbread cookie. I love
Nice
it.
choice.
And I would have got rid of candy too. I would have got rid of candy for
Yeah,
sure.
it's like, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me.
I feel it. Do you eat potato chips?
Very rarely, but I do love them. They're super addicting. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the same format as the desserts. I'm gonna name
Okay.
four brands. You have to choose one of these brands that you'll get rid of. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. First one is Ruffles.
Mm,
The next one is Lay's. The next one is Doritos.
okay.
The next one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Pringles. Yeah, definitely Pringles.
That seems to be a hot topic for people. People always say Pringles for sure. For
They
sure. They're getting
just,
rid of them.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like cardboard. I don't know. It's just the texture doesn't do it for me. They're too thin. Yeah, it's just they don't even taste like chips to me. Not a fan.
What's your favorite potato chip?
Honestly, regular just Lay's potato chips. After that, probably barbecue.
I'm with you on that. I
Hmm.
like the cheddar and barbecue ruffle chips.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my God. And the
I
cheddar and
like
sour
it.
cream ones. Oh my
Yeah,
God. How it just gets
yeah, I
stuck
like
in those
it.
little ridges. Oh my God. Yeah, it's so dank. So good.
Mm, I like. Oh, you said dank.
I
I
said
love
dank.
that, girl. I love that. Damn it, Kelly. Girl, you're gonna have a black man blush on here. Do you know how hard that is? My goodness. I love that, girl. That's what's up. You did pretty good on this or
Thank
that. You
you.
did really good. Now,
Thank you.
as a radio person, I love asking this question to all my guests here that are radio people that I have on this platform, and that is, I want a top four. And
Okay.
this, I got two top four questions, but the first top four question I'm going to have is give me a top four of interviews that you have done or
Ooh.
interviews that you would like to do on the radio.
Okay. Interviews I've done, my number one was Corey Taylor from Slipknot. That was incredible. They
Mm,
were my favorite band growing up, so it was like a full circle moment being able to sit down with him.
mhm.
Then David Draymond from Disturbed. He was really, really cool. I loved him. And he's also a gamer. I grew up a gamer, so we got to talk about video games. So that was cool.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Halo was my number one. And then Halo
Get
Infinite
out of
came
here.
out,
For
which
real?
is garbage. 343 completely destroyed Halo. So now I don't play anymore. But then I moved to Dead by Daylight and, some more horror games. But let's see.
Mm,
Third was probably Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park. He was such a nice guy. Oh my God, he was just such a sweetheart. And
mhm.
then 21 Pilots would probably be my fourth, or Chris Martin from Coldplay. He was also really, really cool to talk to. So,
Coldplay was great to see in person. So was
oh, I
21
believe
Pilots.
it. Yeah, yeah, they're phenomenal
Um,
live.
no doubt. Blink. I was a Blink 182 guy growing up. They're from San Diego.
Yep.
Yeah, I grew up there. So yeah, I was a Blink 182 guy
Hell
for
yeah.
sure. I was also a gamer as well.
Nice.
Yes, not only the sports games, but Halo was my game. That's the only really game
Yes.
I played. MVP baseball and Halo on the Xbox. Those are the only two games I played.
I
Because
mean,
I was a
Xbox
Sony guy.
doesn't really have anything else, Like there it's
Right.
it's such a bummer. Like Halo was the reason you had Xbox. It was just such a good
Hmm.
game. Oh, it was phenomenal.
Yes, that's the only reason why I had the Xbox. 'Cause I'm a
Hmm.
Sony guy. I'm
Yeah.
PlayStation all the way. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. Was there ever an interview that you had to cut short, or it just was like, this ain't going the way I thought it would go?
Um maybe okay, so there was I can't remember what the name of the band was though, and I don't want to say the wrong name, but it
Sure.
was like a metal band, and it was at Aftershock Music Festival in Sacramento. So it's like the big rock festival they do there every year.
Hmm.
And I was interviewing this band live, and they were just not into it. Like I would ask questions and they would almost like roll their eyes or like be looking away and like just it was like they couldn't wait for the interview to be over. And I got like I was still so new to radio at that point. I was maybe like 5 years in.
Right.
So I was like super nervous and uncomfortable, and I was just like, okay, well, thanks, guys, and just like cut it short because I was just like mortified that it went so bad. And it wasn't even me. It's not like my questions were bad. Like I did so much research and I made sure that I was professional. It was just like they
They
just
just
didn't
didn't
want
give
to
you
be
much
there.
content.
Yeah, like sometimes bands just don't want to be there, and it sucks that they still sign up to do interviews, but it's their tour managers that sign them up. But yeah, I ended that one early because I was just like, okay. And I never listened to their music again, honestly. I was like, you guys are a bunch of a-holes. I hate you.
I bet you. I know that's right. I mean, we get them in journalism too. Sometimes the coaches just give us this very bad
Oh my
content.
God. Oh, I'm
Very bad.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
That's
you
gonna
you
make your
go up
job
to the
so
coach
hard.
and it does because you're trying to be sometimes we or I used to say in the past when I was working in the publications, you're covering a game and both of
Hmm.
the teams is teams that you cover.
Yeah,
So, one of the teams gonna win, one of the teams gonna lose. Now you understand the team that's gonna lose, the coach might be in a mood. Right?
sure.
You understand that after the game. But they also understand that they got to be professional as well. That's what comes with it,
Yeah.
right? When you sign up to be a coach, you understand you can't win every game. So you
Hmm.
still got to be professional to the people that's in the media that's trying to promote your sport.
Hmm.
And also, talk about your team. And they would just get bad interviews. And I'm like,
Oh.
this is just awful
It's like
content. Like,
grow up. Come on, do your
right.
job.
Right. Like, dude, I had no like stamp on the outcome of the game. Like I didn't
Yeah.
do anything wrong to you. Like I'm
Hmm.
sorry your team lost, but there's more games to be played and that's just what it is. But I
Yeah.
love asking that question because there's great interviews, but in this business, you're always gonna have some people like, what in the blue hell was that? Like, what
Yep.
is going on?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you fumble an interview, like sometimes I'll like be tripping over my words, or sometimes I'm talking
Sure.
over them, or, it's just like sometimes you just get anxious or nervous. And, it's
Yep.
just like after the interview, you're like, my God, I hope nobody ever sees that.
Yeah, there's definitely been times I forgot a question while I was talking, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, if
Yeah.
I think about it, coach, I'll come back to you." So it's one of those things. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
The second top four question is about Phoenix.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to come there to Phoenix at some point, because I love going to big cities. Um, I've been to Arizona, but it was Tucson that I went
Okay.
to.
Oh, Tucson's great.
Uh,
Yeah. We love the
yeah.
dirty tea.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it wasn't Phoenix. I want to know what's the top four things I should do when I touch down in
Hmm.
Phoenix, Arizona.
That's a great question. Um, You'd probably want to see some kind of sport live. So maybe
Okay.
like a Cardinals game or something would be fun. I haven't been to one, but I'm assuming that would be fun. I always like to do the naturey things. I would say if you
Me
like
too.
nature at all, go tubing on the Salt River. It is
Okay.
it's a little intense. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like a lazy river. There are some parts that are like rapids and you're just on like this rubber tube and everybody is like hammered and it's a party,
Mm,
man. If you want to party, like the Salt River is definitely where you want to do it. And there's wild horses that will, be drinking in the river, or they'll be crossing the river and stuff. So you get to see wild horse. They're gorgeous. They're so beautiful. So
mm.
definitely tubing on the Salt River. The lakes out here are beautiful too. So I mean, Saguaro Lake is one of the lakes that we go to a lot just to kayak, and it's super pretty out there. What else? Honestly, just checking out the food. We have really, really good food out here. We have great Mexican food,
Now you talking.
great
Okay.
Italian food. I mean, a lot of the Italian spots out here, like they make their pasta homemade every day. They make their bread homemade every day. So
Mm.
I'd say we've got a really, really good food scene out here.
Yeah, that's definitely won my heart with that, with the food scene. But
Yeah.
the tubing part is something that I really love. When I was in Atlanta, Georgia, because that's what Kennesaw State is. When I was in there, I used to go tubing. There's a place called Helen, Georgia, where you go tubing. I used to do that damn near almost. once or twice a month.
Hell
It's just,
yeah.
it's just so relaxing. And
Yeah.
I'm waiting on my bucket list. I was gonna do it on the cruise, but they canceled it because in Jamaica they had a rainfall and it kind of flooded it out. It flooded out the river.
Oh no.
We're gonna do whitewater rafting.
Oh, dude, yes. Oh, whitewater's so much fun. Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
don't have anything like that out here, but whitewater rafting is amazing.
Yes, it's on my bucket list to do, because I definitely wanna do that. My family is scared to do it, but I'm not. I wanna do that. I'm cool
Hell
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you should.
Yes, so I would definitely get to it, but I like that top 4. Obviously, when I do touch down in Phoenix, and if you're still there, I
Of
definitely
course.
wanna say hello to you for
Yeah,
sure.
please. Yeah, we can definitely show you
Okay,
around. My boyfriend's literally from here, born and raised, so he can definitely, and he's a muralist, so we can take you on like mural tours. We can do some graffiti if you want. Yeah, it'd be super fun.
that's what's up. I love that. I wanna ask you about advice that someone has given you that you hold on dearly to.
Mm. So my old boss from when I was living in Fresno, California, doing mornings out there, I call him my radio dad. His name is John Ballard, and I love him so, so much. He's currently retired from radio, but it was 4 years into my job there. I was doing mornings, I was doing middays, I was doing the, local new music show on the weekends. I was the face of the station. I had a bunch of, jobs on the side that, were like off air. And it was like I couldn't do any more there than, other than taking my boss's job. So I was like, I got to find a new job, man. Like I can't I can't excel anymore here. I'm literally
Right.
doing everything.
No growth.
Yes.
Right.
So at the time, I was also dealing with a lot of drama in my life. I mean, I was in my young 20s. I had like, awful friends. I was going through a breakup. I was honestly also ready to just get out of Fresno. And the advice that he gave me was make sure you're running towards something, not from something.
Mm.
And the advice just like really stuck in my head for some reason because I think deep down he knew that I was running from all the things that were going on in my life.
Sure.
But I was just telling myself that, oh, it'll get better when I leave Fresno. And it didn't because then I went to Vegas and that was a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, he makes a really good point. You always got to make sure that you're not running from things because no matter where you run to, it's going to follow you. So
Without
just make
question.
sure you're leaving for the right reasons.
I like that. Make sure you're running to something and not from something. I love
Yeah.
that. Love that advice for sure. Is there, I want to ask this because when I do talk to people that's in radio, especially music, they always talk about how much of a blast it is to be out on the streets and interacting with people whenever there's street events going on
Hmm.
or whenever there's concerts. There's different type of concerts that's going on. Is there a lot of times where you're out there interacting with people when concerts are coming about, and do you get a chance to go see a lot of concerts?
We definitely get a lot of chances to see them, but I don't get to go to a lot of them just because I wake up at 4 AM every day. So, unfortunately, a lot of the shows are on weeknights, and I mean, in my 20s, I would go to shows all the time, but I'm in my mid-30s and I'm tired. I'm in bed by 8 PM every day. So, it's like, I'm sorry, if the show starts at 8, absolutely not. Like, if I see that, the headliner's even going on at 9 PM, sorry, I'm gonna be in bed. Like, can't make it.
I feel that. Now, hold
But
on. What if it's a weekend show?
yeah, if it's a weekend show and it's one that I haven't seen, at this point in my
Mhm.
career, I've seen so many bands, I don't need to see them again unless it's one that I really, really love. So, yeah, I'll sometimes go out to weekend ones if it's like a band I haven't seen or one that I would
Okay.
really like to see again. Like if Death Cab came back to town, I would love to see them again. Wet
Mhm.
Leg was really fun in person. Manchester Orchestra is one of my favorite bands ever. So, yeah, like there are definitely exceptions, but man, mid-30s, I mean, it just
It's
the
tough.
exhaustion,
That
it
is tough.
hits you, man. Yeah. So, I don't get to go out nearly as much as I used to, but, I love my
Yeah.
beauty sleep, so
You're absolutely right about that. I do like the bar scene, but I'm really more of a socializer now than a
Yeah.
drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like me, I can socialize with a Diet Coke. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. Or something, or a Diet Mountain Dew, something like that. If I do have a drink, it's Hennessy, but
Okay.
it's probably
Damn,
just one.
okay.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it when I do drink. I'm with it. That's when I do. But now being like you said, being in the mid 30s, um, it takes a toll on you. That
It
recovery
does.
time, you gotta have that proper sleep, proper recovery time,
Yep.
and with me working nights and weekends, I don't wanna get up unfortunately, I don't wanna get up ass early in the morning. I'm
Yep.
sorry. I do sports. I don't wanna do that. The
Yep.
sports normally go late into the wee hours of the night at times, but I totally understand what you're saying because you get up in the wee hours of the morning, that's what
Yeah.
you do. But I just love asking that question because there's different on-air personalities that go to a lot of events. I used to do event security, so I used to see all the
Oh,
tents,
cool.
and people and, the promotions team out there
Yep.
promoting their concerts and stuff like that, and I'm sure you guys got that in Phoenix as well,
We
so
do. Yeah.
it's pretty cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um Kelly, this has been a really, really dope conversation to have with you. I mean, you
Yeah.
are
Agreed.
amazing in more ways than one. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
I'm not going to be the only one to ever tell you that or who has ever told you that. I'm sure many people have, which they should. You do such an amazing job. You're so easy to
Thank
talk
you.
to. This has been such a free flowing conversation. I really do appreciate you again allocating your time to me, getting off of work, and being able to rock with me on my podcast show. My last question to you is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself or anything at all
Mm.
before we conclude?
Mm. Honestly, no. I feel like this was super well-rounded. I just wanna thank you so much for reaching out to me and for having me. I feel like I've made a new friend, and I'm rooting for you. I know you're doing freelance right now. I know you wanna get back into radio.
Dude,
Honestly, just in this, what, hour that I've talked to you, I know you can do anything you set your mind to. So just keep it up, man. You're gonna do really big things, and I'm psyched for you. And again, it was great meeting you, and thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
absolutely. Thank you so much. And I actually do got one more thing. And there is a woman named Mo that comes on
Oh my
after
God.
you.
Yeah, she's
I
amazing.
would
She's my
l-
best
I
friend.
would love to get her on this podcast because
Sure.
yes, I think she would be amazing. So if you can help me out in any way, that would be amazing to get her
Yeah.
on for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'll hit her up right after this and let her know that you wanna connect with her. She's amazing. You will love her.
Yes, indeed. No doubt. But you take care. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I hope to see you down the line. I really do. And keep doing your thing in media, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Nice meeting you. See ya.